Hi, I'm Anatole, and this is my reaction video to Neon Genesis Evangelion Season 1, Episode 6, I believe. The titles of which, the two titles, Showdown in Tokyo 3, which you can see right here on the screen. And then the second title is Ray 2, Ray number 2. It received a score of 8 point something or another on IMDb, a score of 8.4 out of 500 votes, and I really don't have much to add. The one piece of news related to the show this week, I read an article about the creator of the show, Hideaki Anno, which was basically about a translation of an interview that he did in Japan, stating that in real life he had very fraught and difficult relationship with his father, and that made its way into the show in the relationship between Shinji and his father. So there, and that Hideki Anno is on the record as saying that he has had problems with depression and mental health, and those concerns also made their way into the show. So any reading of that mental health, the mental health aspect of the show, or of the father and the son, any reading of the series that relating it back to the creator of the show is valid, because the creator Hideaki Anno has said himself that he put those elements into the show because they were reflected into his own life. But that's all I've got for now. So please join me after the intro, and I will do my reaction to episode 6 of Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's cool. One of the commenters told me pay attention to the geodesic shapes in the show. That the creatives behind it are really fond of it. I love that light just operating even though there's nobody in that street. 1-to-1 scale, huh? It's kind of like what they did in World War II with those dummies, the balloon dummies. They being the British and the Americans. I love how minimal this set is, but it still gives a feeling of that command center. 22 layers of armor is pretty serious. All the effort and expense that would have taken to create that kind of defense underneath the ground, where things are really expensive to do. So they've created a time bomb for this episode. That's a literary technique where you have a deadline for something to finish. I love these effects of the map. Who is this? Is that Ray? I thought Ray had her eye injured, right? I'm confused. Alright, so this is Ray, and her last name is Ayanami. She's referring to her family name. So I believe that's Ray. It seems like every episode I'm confused about the identity of Ray. I really like the music, the jazz piano. So they're going to be going together. That's pretty cool. I like how they've increased the stakes each episode. The angels get a little tougher, so then they bring in some reinforcements. Shinji gets a little better, more adept at piloting his Eva. Pretty cool. I really like how this show kind of skirts the line of being R. It's always near PG-13, never veering into R. Although technically she's underage, right? So this should be more disturbing than it is. Because I believe she's under 18. These are kids, teenagers. So that's the silhouette of a new teenager. It should be disturbing. But I think the way it's done, most people probably don't even think about it. What about space? So she ended that conversation before talking about not having anyone else. You get a sense of them developing a bond, but then there's a mystery left to Rei because she wouldn't talk about her past. And who really believes that they're going to fail here? So she saved his father in episode 1, and now he saves her in this episode. No, his father, yeah, I said that. His father saved her, now he saves her. I was wrong the first time. His father saved her, and now he saves her. Ugh. Wonder where that's going to go. I think I called earlier Oedipal complex, Oedipal drama between Rei and the father and the son. Seems that's where they're kind of going. So all that fighting was really just to develop Rei and Shinji, it seems like. Because the business with the angel, did it serve the plot? I'm going to watch, so now that we've finished, I'll watch this again and then read some criticism, and so any fuzziness I have about the plot should get cleared up. So yeah, that's my reaction to episode 6. Join me in a moment or two, and then I'll give you my review of this episode. And welcome back. And so this is the next day. I watched the episode 2 more times and listened to some reviews, read a review. So I'm coming back to it now, having had the chance to take it in a little bit more. And what I'm really struck by is the way that they're really trying to draw these parallels between Rei and Shinji, and Rei and Shinji's father, and Shinji and his father. I'm not really sure where they're going to take this Oedipal drama, but as I mentioned in my introduction, the creator of the show, Hideaki Anno, definitely has said that he drew upon the torture relationship he had with his father. But what I want to remark upon here is not just the historical context, the biographical context that became part of the story, but the way that it's so artfully done. Because as the episode concluded, and I recognized, and they do hammer home the fact that there is a parallel between Rei and his father, it never felt contrived to me. It was only natural that these two people, the father and the son, would be in this situation to save Rei. I think I just said that Rei and Rei's father. I'm a little spun, but Shinji and his father have this relationship, this love triangle with Rei, and because it's kind of a workplace relationship, it only made sense that both of them would be in that position to have both saved her life. So it didn't strike me as forced. And then I like the way that every time they go back to the well on Shinji's psychology, and that the way that being an Eva is affecting him physically and mentally, it, for me, only makes the show more realistic. It doesn't feel like hammering the point home, because realistically, every combat experience would have potentially this kind of effect on Shinji. And so they're not glossing over it. And for me, it only draws me more into the world and the story. So I think those two things, the biographical and the psychological, those continue to add a depth to this series that I think maybe many shows of this ilk, this mecha ilk, lacked, because they were only meant for entertainment. But Hideaki Anno definitely developed it with the mind that there would be more there for people who were looking for it. And for me, it's one of those draws, the things that make me intrigued by the series. So that's all I got for this episode. Thank you for joining me for my reaction and my brief review, and I hope you'll join me again on this channel And until next time, take care and be well. Goodbye.